Get the plane here by 1900 hours.
Well, shouldn't we at least...
Get the plane, Billy.
I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's other people waiting to use the phone here.
Now, if you go up against this guy, be careful.
I think it's out of order.
Somebody in a white shirt and tie gunned down a phone booth 3 blocks from the Whammy Burger.
Michael Douglas.
In America, we have the freedom of speech. Come on, I want to be a part of the right to disagree.
Robert Duvall.
I know who this guy is.
In a Joel Schumacher film.
What are you doing to the street? We're fixing it. What the hell does it look like? See, I don't think anything's wrong with the street. I think you're just trying to justify your inflated budgets. Well, I guess so. I'll give you something to fix. What are you... Hey, Charlie!
Falling down.
Let's call it a day. Come on. I'm the bad guy?
I guess understandably, but nonetheless regrettably, that people took the attitude in some places of either all or none. Either you lock down or you just let it fly and you just ignore many of the guidelines of physical distancing, wearing a mask, shaking hands, not shaking hands, avoiding crowds. And what happened is you see pictures on the TV of the fact that even in states that are telling their citizens to do it correctly, they're doing that. There are crowds, they're not physical distancing, and they're not wearing masks. That's a recipe for disaster. It's something I spoke about time and again. We do need to open up again, no doubt about it. We want to get the economy back, but you've got to do it in a measured way. And now we're seeing the consequences of community spread, which is even more difficult to contain than spread in a well-known physical location, like a prison or a nursing home or a meatpacking place. When you have community spread, it's insidious because there are so many people in the community who are infected but asymptomatic. It makes it extremely problematic to do efficient contact tracing, because most of the people who are infected don't even know they're infected. So how do you do contact tracing when someone doesn't have any symptoms?
We heard Dr. Fauci talk about contact tracing, and that's the public health practice where you call someone who's infected, the Department of Health calls them and says, wow, who did you have contact with over this period of time? We need to call them and tell them to stay at home, to tell them to quarantine. I told him that I've talked to many people who have been infected, and none of them have ever gotten that contact tracing.
Lock the door.
Taking your car, sir. You're taking your car. No, I'm not. I'm immune. I've already had it. And my daughter's not sick. She's sick. She's not. No, we're just trying to get to Wisconsin. Order is sealed. The governor has declared a quarantine. You're taking your car. No, we don't want to go back there. We want to go across. Sir, there is no way. We're not sick. Your car. You're taking your car or I will be dating you. Where? Get in the car.
I don't think we're doing very well for a number of reasons, not all of which is the fault of the system. In that, I mentioned this over the past few days, that if you go into the community and call up and say, how's the contact tracing going? The dots are not connected because a lot of it is done by phone. You make a contact, 50% of the people, because you're coming from an authority, don't even want to talk to you. If you're in an area where there are a lot of brown people who are Latinx at the border, they're concerned if you give them confidential information, it's going to work against them. And then there are those who they'll give you the contact, but you don't exactly isolate them. They get lost in the shuffle. That's very, very difficult situation. That we've got to do better on. But what's even more confounding, Elizabeth, what's even more confounding is that when you have a community-based outbreak, like's going on right now in several states, Florida, California, Texas, Arizona, etc., what you're seeing is community-based spread where 20 to 40% of the people who are infected don't have any symptoms. So the standard classic paradigm of identification, isolation, contact tracing doesn't work no matter how good you are, because you don't know who you're tracing. They're out there, they don't even know that they're infected.
What the fuck are you talking about? Look, you got something none of us. Oh, come on. Why is it always this? I mean, I fucking owe it to myself to do this or that. What if I don't want to? No. Well, fuck you. You don't owe it to yourself. You owe it to me.
So, as I mentioned a few times recently, one of the things that we are considering doing is completely blanketing these communities with tests to get a feel for what the penetrance is in the community of infection. You can do that by a number of ways. You can do pooled testing of large numbers of people together in one shot. You can get community people to get boots on the ground and to go out there and look for the people.
You can get community people to get boots on the ground and to go out there and look for the people.
If you're feeling sick in any way, you should take a pillowcase or any piece of white cloth on your front door. Soldiers will take you to a testing facility, and you will know the results within a few hours. Early stages resemble the flu, coughing, and high fever. Anyone showing these signs should report them immediately. Doctors have the situation well in hand and are working day and night to find a cure.
Folks, attention. We appreciate your patience, and we're doing the best we can. We have exhausted our supply of meals ready to eat for today.
To get boots on the ground and to go out there and look for the people instead of getting on a phone and doing so-called contact tracing by phone.
I've been stuck at home for a week after the coronavirus outbreak has halted the world, so I decided to watch Contagion. The 2011 film, written by Scott Z. Burns and directed by Steven Soderbergh, depicts a worldwide outbreak of a deadly virus. Sound familiar? So I decided to compare everything these guys got right and everything they got wrong. This is Contagion versus Reality, March 2020. And of course, spoilers ahead. It's quite remarkable to see a film almost a decade old so accurately depict the reality of possibly the largest pandemic we have seen this century.
Europe is now the epicenter of the global...
Travel ban began preventing entry for those traveling from 26
I'll refer to 3
European
points
countries.
specifically: disease origin, transmission speed, and the impact of misinformation. Probably the most shocking match with reality is that the fictitious MEV1 disease depicted in the movie originates from animals, from bats to pigs to humans. The information that we have today about SARS-CoV-2 tells us that it also has an animal origin, a bat to a pangolin to finally reach humans. It is believed that the disease made its way from a bat to a pangolin in a wet market, specifically this market in Wuhan where wildlife is traded. The conditions of the market, where animals are stacked on top of each other, likely created a similar deadly coincidence. Now, while only a small portion of the Chinese population consumes wildlife animals, the highly contagious nature of this virus allowed it to quickly spread from patient zero into the city of Wuhan. Which brings me to the next point, transmission speed. The reproduction number is used to estimate and represent how quickly a disease can spread.
How many other people are they likely to infect? Now, before we had a vaccine, polio spread at a rate between 4 and 6. We call that number the R0.
Like COVID-19, the fictitious virus is respiratory and can live in surfaces, fomites, for several hours or even days, making it all that easy to transmit.
The average person touches their face 2,000 or 3,000 times a day.
2,000 or 3,000 times a day?
3 to 5 times every waking minute. In between, we're touching doorknobs, water fountains, elevator buttons, and each other. Those things become fomites.
In the film, Patient Zero contracts the virus in Hong Kong, which is technically another match, and imports it to the US. We see little of the development of the pandemic in other countries outside the US, but it does spread extremely fast in America. While MEV1 and COVID-19 share a similar R0 factor, in the film, 125 plus million people are infected about a month after Patient Zero. Patient Zero for the US showed up in January 19th, about 2 months before I shot this video.
The first case of the deadly Chinese coronavirus making its way to the U.S.
That patient is a man in his 30s. He is in the hospital here.
And there's not just one reason why the U.S. has been so slow to test.
And while testing hasn't been the most efficient in the country, the official estimate today is around 1,500 infected. In the film, response from health authorities and the government was prompt, with quarantine zone established as soon as 14 days after the first death. However, it's the impact and dynamics of misinformation and mass hysteria where we can find eerie similarities with our 2020 reality. Distrust in the government and fake news. In the movie, they're represented by Jude Law's characters, a blogger that, while credited with noticing the epidemic early on, begins disseminating false theories with no other seeming purpose than generating traffic for his website and chaos.
When I turned on my computer this morning, I had over 2 million unique visitors all looking for the truth.
Alan fakes contracting the virus and fakes getting better using a natural extract called forsythia. Forsythia is a real herb used to treat bronchitis and believed to help reduce inflammation, but even today, without sufficient evidence to be used in medicine. Alan's claims release chaos, and misinformed masses begin to try to get their hands on the extract.
And now to the growing number of hoaxes popping up online from false claims about
Similarly, a group of conspiracy theorists, including Alex Jones, have begun promoting microparticle colloidal silver.
Tested it. It works on just about everything.
That beats coronavirus. They have clinical documentation to prove it.
Order silver now.
A cease and desist was issued by the New York Attorney General, but we're yet to find out if it does anything to stop them. We are, of course, also seeing shortages of masks, which have been advised against for the general population by the World Health Organization, hand sanitizer, and toilet paper, for some reason.
I just want one pack.
When a vaccine is developed in the film, incorrectly just at 133 days after Patient Zero, Jude Law's character threatens to continue misinforming his followers about the potential side effects of the vaccine, including autism.
The lawyers indemnified the drug companies. Maybe it causes autism or narcolepsy or cancer 10 years from now. Who knows?
Just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
The film also taunts at misinformed government officials.
Well, Homeland Security wants to know if we could put a vaccination in the water supply, like fluoride, cure everyone all at once.
Which is just icing on the cake after seeing this go down in a real world White House.
If you take a solid flu vaccine, you don't think that would have an impact or much of an impact on corona?
No. Probably none.
Probably none.
As for what comes next, the film predicts a suspension in basic services, food shortages, and mass graves. Let's hope that we don't get to see any of that.
Daddy? What was that? There's his phone. Eight missed calls. Where the hell are you? Call me on my way. Where is he? There you are.
Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah?
Does anyone come in here?
No, who would come in here?
Don't go near the doors. Just stand back there.
Dad, you're kind of freaking me out. What's going on?
It's the Coopers. Something ain't right with them. I think they're sick.
What kind of sick?
Jimmy!
Dad?
Honey, come here. Come here. Jimmy! Jimmy, stay back! Jimmy, I am warning you!
You shot him.
Sarah.
I saw him this morning.
Listen to me. There is something bad going on. You've got to get out of here. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Tell me, come on. Come on.
Where the hell you been? You have any idea what's going on out there?
I got some notion.
Holy shit. You got blood all over you.
Ain't mine. Let's just get out of here.
You're saying half the people in Sydney lost their minds.
Can we just please go?
Sort of parasite or something. You gonna tell me what happened?
Later.
Hey, Sarah. How you holding up, honey?
I'm fine. Can we hear us on the radio?
Yeah, sure thing.
Thanks.
No cell phone, no radio. Yeah, we're doing great. A minute ago, newsman wouldn't shut up.
He said where to go?
They said, Army's put up roadblocks on the highway. No getting into Travis County.
We need to get the hell out. Take 71.
71, that's right.
Did they say how many are dead?
Probably a lot. Found this one family all mangled inside their
Tommy.
house. Right. I'm sorry.
Dr. Chief called again. We're just having a hard time with the logistics of evacuating you. Finding a plane and all. We got the phone. Dr. Cheever asked you to call if you feel up to it. And we're setting up a special ward for medical personnel and first responders at the university. I want to move you there. But the nurses union is calling a work stoppage until protocols are in place. There are volunteers, but it's hard right now. Just to know where's the right place.
When did we run out of body bags?
2 days ago.
I'm trying to get more in from Canada, but they just want to wait.
The idea that we are now a few days away from a new administration, given, as you heard from the introduction, that I have been around for a while and have had the opportunity of serving in 5 administrations, I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, is that there is no question that there will be a surprise outbreak. The thing we're extraordinarily confident about is that we are going to see this in the next few years. Thank you.